What's up, guys? So today we're going to talk about how to use iMovie with your desktop. Now, if you guys want to know how to use it with your iPhone, I created a video last week. I'll leave a link in the description and up top here so you guys can check that out as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. All right, let's dive into my computer and let's get started. All right, so when we first open up the app, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look up top here. We open up the app and we have projects and we also have our media tab. Okay, so we're going to select projects and we're going to select this big plus sign. And it's going to give us two options. We're going to create a movie or trailer. Just like the app, what we're going to do is we're going to create a movie. So we're going to select that. All right, so right up top here, we have our media where we can select all our media files, our audio files. We have our titles, our backgrounds, and transitions. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our media, and what we're going to do is we're going to import our media into our new project. Okay, so let's go ahead and click the little arrow button here, or we could drag and drop our media in here. So we're going to click the little arrow button and select some files. All right, once we selected our files, we're going to go ahead and click import. All right, so now that we have our files in our here, we could place the cursor on top of it and it would actually give us a little preview of what we're looking at. If we just want a specific area, for example, let's just say I want this, I want to cut it right about here. What I can do is use these little yellow brackets and I could adjust which one I want to import. All right, for this, I'm just going to do it in the timeline. I'm going to import the whole thing. The next one is we're going to select this image and put in our timeline. Now, if you notice, we could stack these images on top of each other. Okay, so, or we could put them side by side and then we could create our edits that way. All right, so for this, for example, let's find the perfect spot. As you notice here, there's we have our volume control here, or basically our vocals or whatever audio is on the actual image, on the actual video footage. We could adjust that as well, just by selecting it and moving this up and down, and we could adjust the percentage of that. So I'm going to turn this all the way down. We could shorten or extend our clip this way as well, or we could also do this. So let's find a good spot for this video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to click split clip. All right, so now we split this clip so it's split in half, because this is the first part is what we want. You could also right click and you could freeze a frame. You could detach the audio. If we detach the audio, this is what it'll do, and we could move that around or play around with that. All right, so if we right click and we select the speed editor, you'll see that there's these two little dot areas here, and you'll notice that there's like a little rabbit right now, which means that we're speeding up the clip, and if we extend it, we're basically slowing down the clip. So that's two options that you could use as well. So for example, I'm going to get rid of, I'm actually going to split this clip right here. I want maybe, let's see, this part right here. So let's right click on this, split that here, and we'll split that here. And I'm going to click on this section and just hit delete. So we got rid of that. So now we have this right here, and we can delete this. We'll split this right here, and we could grab this footage and drag it over right here. Okay, now if we notice, it's going to play the top footage always first. So for this, I'm going to keep this really small. So if I click delete, it's going to delete both clips, and here's why. Let me undo that. This clip right here, you see the little it's got like a little line, so it's connected to this clip. So if I delete anything underneath it, it's going to delete everything that this is connected to. All right, so what we want to do is we want to remove it and put it in our timeline. Now we can delete this clip. I'm going to lower the volume on that as well. So now here we have our sequence here, and we can do a couple things. If we play it back, it's at normal speeds. Now let's say I want to right click and I want to basically slow this down just a tiny bit. Now if we play it back, we notice this in slower motion. And make this short clip, so I'm going to like stop it right here. And what I'll do is I will split that. All right, so now we have a wide shot and then we have our close-up shot. Okay, so we can do a couple things here. If we go up to our titles, we could go ahead and add a basic title. Take that, we'll drag it down here. And we could double click on the title and we could select our title. All right, so now we added a title. Now if we want to add some transitions, we'll click on the transition tab, and what we could do is, let's see here, let's drag this. What I did was I added a transition in the end, so if you notice here, it'll fade out to white, okay, and there's a reason for that. So I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do here. All right, so let's go to transitions, okay, so now I added a fade to white for the back, for the ending of this clip, right? And in between here, we have these little lines here that we can add transitions to. So for example, if I want to just add a cross dissolve, I could go ahead and add it here, and now this just cross dissolves two clips together. I can also, let's just say we grab this clip and put it in our timeline here, and we'll shorten this real fast just to give you this example. And let's say I want to cross dissolve this clip into this clip. Once you add this to your timeline, you'll see that there's two little spots right here, and this will cross dissolve your clip as well. So now when it'll give you this little fade effect to the next clip over. So you could use that as well. I'm going to just delete this for now, but that's another example how you could use a transition. You could also double click on it and select the timing of the transition if you want. So if we want to change this to 4, for example, it will extend our transition longer, and we click apply. We get a longer transition, so we could do that as well. I could select the transition and I could drag and drop it to a different spot. Now our backgrounds tab, basically we can add if I just want to add let's just say we grab this and we will put this background here. So now let's play this back. You'll notice it transitions into this, right? We could do something like that. We'll delete that. And let's add a white background since we're transitioning into white. If we click play, it'll transition into white. So now what we could do is we could add another title to the end. We'll take that, put it on top here, and we'll write the end. Now if we play that back, we have an ending to our little film. All right, so I'm going to remove this transition because I want to just keep it straight cut. And I'm going to find this spot right here, and I'm going to trim this down to here. Now let's talk about the audio section here. We could add audio to our track. So we could also import our audio, but since I already have some audios here that's already imported, we could click on the audio, play it. So let's just say I want to drag that down here. Now if we play it back, So now we have a couple little drops up there. We have a couple little, always want to match up with the music. So if I go back to our media and let's try to find some other clips here. I'll drag this down to our timeline. And I want to split a couple clips here. So let's do this. Let's get a couple shots, like here's one. So we'll select that and we'll split that. And I'm going to take these little splits and bring them over here. So if I hit Command and plus, it's going to extend my timeline so I can work with it. And what I'm doing here is I want to find the beats of the song here. So it looks like here's one. There's one beat. I'm going to start that right there. And I'll trim it. The next one is this. So let's move our cursor right there and we'll drag that there. And the next one is right there. The music was going fast, so what I did was I created, we found the spot where the music, the punch lines were, which is one right here, another one is right there, another one's right there. So now when we play this back, our clips are going with the music. Let's see what we created so far. So we'll remove the rest of these clips. Now what we want to do is we kind of want to just fade this out. So let's take our song track. Let's bring it on over to the end of the clip here, to about there, and we'll take this little dot here to fade the track out. We'll move it over to about there. All right, so now that we have our everything in our timeline, okay, let's do some final edits. And before we do that, let me show you guys what these top things do here. So we have our, if we select a clip, first thing we do is we have, first thing up top here is we have our cutaway, split screen. We could change this clip, and let's just say we want to do a split screen on this. It'll create a split screen so that we could watch this, and the bottom and the top clip will play at the same time. We can also choose picture in picture. So if we want to play the bottom clip, let's say we're doing some kind of tutorial and we want to show our face, we could do that as well. We can move this around. So we could put it down here, so we could have ourselves playing down below, and we could have the picture that we're showing above. For this, we're just going to keep it as a cutaway. All right, our next thing is we have our matching color tool. So we could use match color if we want to match a certain color. So if we want to take the clip from the left here and match the color so that they're both the same colors, we could do that. We can also adjust our white balance, and we can use our drop tool by selecting a white in the image and adjusting our white balance, doing it that way. We could also select skin tones if we want to adjust the skin tones of somebody. That is all you could do with that. And then we have our color grading tool. So for example, you'll see two lines here as our color grading. If we select this and go down, we're going to basically go past our blacks, and then what we're doing is we're adding too much darkness to our image. So ideally we want to keep it in between these two lines. If we use the right side, which is our brightness, this will adjust the white balance and it'll overshadow the exposure, so we want to keep it in between these two lines. We'll have these tools on the right if we want to adjust the colors of the image. We can desaturate the image this way, and we have our color tool here if we need to add some more blues or orange, or we want to warm up our image, just give it a certain look. Our next tab, we have our cropping tool. If we want to crop the image, we can crop the image. If we need to, we could basically crop it in or out. There's the Ken Burns, which is basically a start and end, and what this will do is it will zoom in a start position and an end position where you want the video to zoom in and out, and that's how you do that. The next tab over is our stabilization tool, and we can use this to stabilize our footage. So let's just say we have this footage is not stable. We could select stabilization, and then we could adjust the amount of stabilization we want to add to the footage. Next tab over will be the volume control. So this will be for our footage down below. If we want to adjust the volume of this, we could do that as well. We have our equalizer if we want to add voice enhancement, music enhancement. If we want to reduce the hum reduction or anything we want to do with the equalizer, we could do that as well. And of course we have our speed of our clip. If we need to slow it down, freeze it, we could do that as well here, and we could also right click on it. The next tab over is our filters if we want to add a specific filter, and we'll get to that in a second. As we added a filter down here, this right here, we added a vintage look to this clip, and that's how you do that. So if we select our filter and we clip, let's just say we want to end this, and let's start with this clip right here. We'll select our filter and let's add let's see, we'll do something like that. And okay, or maybe let's do something else. Let's see. Let's add this right here. We'll add a heat wave to that, so it changes the footage. And we'll go to this clip right here, and we'll add another filter to this. Let's see, let's do something like we'll add this right here. So now if we play this back, we have our vintage, and we added some filters to our clip. So those are all the components that you could use on the top. If you want to record a voiceover, you could click on this button and you could actually start recording a voice with the little microphone, record voiceover. So if you want to record a voiceover straight into the video, you can do that as well. Okay, so now to export this, what we created, well, all we have to do is select to the top, click on File. All right, so we'll click on Share, and we'll select File. We'll click on Share, and we'll select File, and then all we have to do is name our file. We can add a description or tags or whatever we want, and we'll click Next, and select where we want to add this. I'll go ahead and add this to my downloads, click Save, and now we have our movie saved. So that's pretty much how you use iMovie for your desktop. Once again, I did create one for a mobile app, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave it in the description. Anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy these tutorials, and I'll see you on my next clip.